What is going on, everybody? My name is Kneeckoh. Welcome back to another Regulation H video. Today, we are ranking the top 5 rock types in Regulation H. Today, I've got Charizard with me.
What's up? I'm Chwar.
And Evan is back for another one.
Because I don't know when to stop.
It's kind of, every time I sit down to do one of these, we have so many left. We have so many of these left. I didn't think about that when I started the series, but I have to commit at this point. There's 12 left, including this one. And that's a lot of types to cover. But rock types. 13, are you counting Stellar?
I mean, that would be a fun one, wouldn't it?
That would be interesting, to say the least. Rock types.
Alright, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, Rock, Terra, Incineroar.
Oh my god.
No, but realistically, I do think the best rock type this regulation is probably Tyranitar.
Yeah. I think, isn't that the best rock type in, like,
I mean,
nearly every, that isn't a legendary, isn't it the best rock type?
Yeah, until Ogerpon. So not only is this Pokemon like a 600 BST powerhouse, but it has absolutely insane stats. It is a legitimate demon in terms of like how powerful it is.
It is really strong, and it's got such a deep move pool that it's just got so many coverage options. It's such a good Pokemon. It sets up a ton, like just with Sandstream alone, like Lycanroc becomes viable. Looking at Houndstone. That's another one that I think will actually pop up. Excadrill, yep.
Garchomp. Like, it enables a lot of Pokemon.
It enables a ton of Pokemon, plus giving itself the buff as well is incredibly solid. It's just a really good Pokemon, because really all you need is an Assault Vest on this thing. I don't know that it ever runs a different item, and you just do a ton of damage and like make other Pokemon benefit.
The only gripe I do have with Tyranitar really is the typing, because like Rock and Dark is an absolutely abysmal typing, and even though it has an insane like defense and special defense stat, which is only further boosted by the Assault Vest and like being in sand, it is kind of Annihilate food, and that's probably part of why I don't think it'll be super popular until people start finding ways to check Mouse Ape with Tyranitar teams.
That's fair.
However, I still think it is the best rock type that we have this regulation, just purely by stats alone, and because, well, really good move pool.
Terraflying Terrablast. There's your answer to Mouse Ape.
There you go. There you go.
You got it. I mean, that was popular. I mean, if you're running Excadrill, that's what you're running anyways.
Sure. Because
you're spamming Earthquake. But that's kind of the move for T-Tar, I feel, in this particular format. What did I just run? I just ran Tyranitar and won a local. Oh, it was Grass. But that was Reg G. I ran a Grass Tyranitar specifically to check Urshifu, because my team did not really have a great Urshifu answer. And yeah, that's really... I just feel like Terrablast is such a good move for Tyranitar, because you just slap a defensive typing on it and then blow something away.
Crazy, yeah. I actually played around with Terra Psychic Tyranitar back in Regulation F.
That was fun.
It was really fun to just watch like Okie Doggy just explode when you looked in its general direction.
Yeah, that was a good... What was that team that won? It was Tyranitar, Hisuian Arcanine, Komo-O, and I can't even remember.
It was Dozo as well. There was a Dozo involved.
Was there a Dozo on that team?
I'm pretty sure there was, because I did fight it a couple times on ladder.
But yeah,
and I don't remember what the last Pokemon was. Maybe Sinistcha, but I don't know.
And that's the weird thing. I think like with Tyranitar, we've talked a lot about this Pokemon, but I feel like it's pretty splashable. Like, you don't necessarily have to be running a sand team to get benefit out of T-Tar. It just has good coverage and good damage. So it just kind of fits, especially if you're running like a lot of steel types. Like Goldango's nice next to it. It does run next to like Komo-O a lot, because Komo-O likes Terra Steel. It's just a good Pokemon. But we've talked like 3 minutes about this Pokemon. We got to talk about a different Pokemon. Rock.
Okay.
I have one in mind. Evan, what do you got?
So, I was gonna say the next one was Hisuian Arcanine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I still think this Pokemon is criminally underexplored. It's probably Hisui's poster boy at this point, with how many tournaments it won back in Regulation E. I still think it's an offensive powerhouse, and it's definitely the Intimidate user that I think probably gets the most success behind Incineroar in terms of just how much damage it puts out.
Yeah, I think I think it's really good. The problem I think it faces the most in Regulation H, at least thus far, is the most popular archetype is Rain.
Yeah.
Its typing doesn't like Rain. It doesn't like getting body pressed by Archaludon. It doesn't like getting weather balled by Pelipper. It doesn't like taking a wave crash from Palafin and or Basculegion. It's just kind of a Terra Sync in this format, I feel.
Yeah. You know, even then, I also just don't think it likes fighting balanced teams, because, like, Tauros, like, Water Tauros eats this thing for breakfast. Yeah. Pretty sure an Aqua Jet just takes it down.
I wouldn't be surprised with the 4 times weakness. And I think that's its biggest problem. I feel like that's just going to be a lot of the problems of the Pokemon on this list, is, like, a lot of them just suffer in the format just from being a rock type.
It really is just like being a rock type, because I still think Hisuian Arcanine has a fantastic offensive type pool, but it's a fire and rock type.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what was said about it when it first came into the game, right? Fire
and then
rock.
It turned into a monster. So yeah, it's hard to say. The format's still young, so we don't know for sure. I think Rockhead Arcanine is actually very powerful too, especially if you already have your Intimidate slot taken up and you don't want to double up because you're terrified of running into something with Defiant or competitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think like Rockhead boosted Flare Blitzes or Head Smashes is just insane damage.
It does give it. Oh god, I'm tired. It does give it an edge. I will say, just because you can put out that insane damage, and you don't have to rely as much on like a Rock Slide miss or like Flare Blitz with all the rain. You can go for like other stuff. So I do agree to some capacity. I really think it's going to struggle in this format. Like, we've even seen Incineroar drop off a bit in this format. Like, even like certain balance teams are seeing other things like Volcarona take that fire type slot. So with just the amount of water running around in the rain teams, it's kind of tricky for these fire type intimidators. Moving on though,
I'm gonna say Glimmora.
I was gonna, I'm a big fan of Glimmora right now. I've been rocking a Glimmora team, and I'm all about this thing.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say Glimmora is the second best rock type in the format over Arcanine.
I'd agree.
If I were to say anything, yeah, because Glimmora has Meteor Beam, which is just a single target nuke, especially, and it also gives you the +1 boost, which helps you with matchups like, for one, Rillaboom, because you get that +1 Sludge Bomb. Rillaboom's not going to enjoy it. It also just hits really hard. It's just kind of my thing.
That's the thing about this thing, is it's like got really decent speed and really good special attack.
I mean, overall, I think it's got amazing stats. Sure, it has lowish HP, but overall, like, look at these stats right now. That's pretty good. It's solid.
The benefit of it as well is nobody wants to touch it. Nobody wants to hit it because you don't want to activate Toxic Debris, which is great into a lot of those physical attacking heavy teams. It's super, super nice. I've been really, really liking it. Honestly, I've been digging the stall variant more. I've been playing more Mortal Spin.
Yeah.
And I've actually really liked Assault Vest on mine. Go for something like Mortal Spin, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, and then I've been rocking Power Gem mainly because I want to nuke a Murkrow when I see it, because I'm running it on Stall Dozo. But like, I've even seen like take off Power Gem for like Energy Ball with Terra Grass. This thing's just like super annoying to deal with.
Yeah, it's a solid Pokemon. It's definitely a lot harder to take out, mainly because people are kind of like how Annihilate functions. People are scared to hit it.
Yeah, you just don't want to touch it.
You don't want to touch it because you don't want to end up debuffing the rest of your team. But then the longer you leave it out in the field, the worse things get. So it kind of it's one of those Pokemon that just by virtue of being there adds a ton of pressure that you may want to abuse.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. There's just so many different ways you can use it in this format. I've really been enjoying it. What's next?
So
Because like I don't.
I have
Rocks.
a couple of suggestions. So I have 3 other rock types that I think come to mind. There's the Sand Rush Lycanroc variant. There's Garganacl, and then there's Kleavor. I think those
Garganacl's
3 are
an
very.
interesting one.
I think Garg is good for stall mostly.
Yeah.
His whole However, there is also the fact that Garg has a pretty respectable attack stat, and I have seen a choice banded Garg kind of scare people, so it's kind of fun.
The tender.
Overall, I do think the stall set with like Salt Cure, Recover, Wide Guard, and like Protect usually ends up being the more successful one because you can just kind of sit on the field for God knows how long and just do a ton of damage.
I'd be
And
keen to see what. I feel
really
like it's
fun.
underexplored because I'd be keen to see what you could do with it next to like a Sinistra.
Because I personally had it on the list as like an honorable mention because
Yeah.
I don't think it stacks up compared to like Lycanroc or Kleavor, but I also think it's still strong.
What even else is there? I don't even know because rock types are so blah.
I mean, there's really a
well,
lot that we're looking at.
There's
I mean,
there's
Rhyperior we can also talk about, but not really much else.
I'll vote for Lycanroc here. I'm a big fan of Lycanroc myself. I think it's really fun. Next to T-Tar, that was also on the team that I won the local with. I was running a 2-2-2 Dozo team with Lycanroc, T-Tar, Dozo, Geary, and Calyrex and Didi. And I really like this Pokemon. I think it's a lot of fun. It outspeeds stuff, and one of my favorite tech things that you can do with this Pokemon, rock a Focus Sash on it.
Is it like Endeavor, Accelerock stuff?
It's just literally I do Terra Ghost wherever it's at. There it is. Close combat, Endeavor, and Protect. That's all I do with this Pokemon. And I just spam Rock Slide next to T-Tar. We get every flinch. If you see a Psy Spam team, they're not getting Trick Room up because you are flinching them every time. It's freaking awesome. But then Endeavor is really nice as well. I faced, surprisingly for a Reg G tournament, I played against a lot of other Dozos. And I used Lycanroc as my win con into Dozo because I literally just had to set Sand and then wait for Dozo to hit Lycanroc and then Endeavor it the following turn and it died to Sand. So like it was just a really, really useful tool. So I'm a big fan of this particular, like the other ones aren't even that good. This one is about the only one that ever sees play.
Lycanroc also has some pretty, I guess, unique tools. Being, I think, one of the only rock priority stabs. I think with Accelerock, might be the only priority rock type attack, wouldn't it? I don't really think any others.
I think so. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, it
Either
is.
way, it's a solid move. And not to mention Lycanroc, like you said, is blindingly fast. It also has things like Howl, lol, and Accelerock and a couple of other crazy.
It does get
things,
180.
but
I was wondering what it. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's around 180, but yeah, it is 180. It's just stupid fast.
Fairly fast. Yeah. I think that's also might be what kind of gives it an edge over the other Sand Rush Pokemon, because it is still competing pretty hard with Houndstone and Excadrill. Although I think I prefer Lycanroc of the 3. That's pretty much it. Just because,
I do
Blue
also
Dog.
I prefer it as far as the Sand Rush users go. I mean, I think Houndstone's in a separate boat. Because it plays a little differently. It's more of an endgame sweeper with last respects. But I prefer Lycanroc over the Excadrill mainly because it doesn't force you to Terra your T-Tar. You can actually preserve the Terra.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I want to say the 5th Pokemon on the list would be Kleavor. Just because.
Is this good? Is this Pokemon good?
I
mean,
haven't it like at all. I do think it has potential. But like it that 135 attack with sharpness boosted
It's really high.
Scissor Donax does hit very hard, but I've not seen many people using this thing.
The only I think maybe Moxie boosted had a Kleavor
It
team.
do on this. Like it was just like a showdown thing. He didn't like it wasn't a game team, but he did mess around with this. Like I do think like you could mess with like a Clear Amulet, Stone Axe, X Scissor. You could even run like Choice Band because you get U-turn for pivoting.
The bulk isn't terrible on this thing. It's not good, but it's not terrible. Like, it's functional bulk. I don't know. It's just a weird Pokemon. Stone Axe is really cool. It's not as cool as Toxic Debris from Glimmora. So of the rock types with the I can't even think of the word. Terrain, is that what? No, it wouldn't be terrain. What word am I not thinking of?
Hazards.
Hazards?
Of the hazard setters. Thank you.
There you go.
Of the hazard setters, Kleavor kind of sucks. As far as rock types are concerned.
You could do the classic because it does get sheer force as well. So like you can do sheer force, life orb, rock slides. If you wanted to.
That sounds so fun, actually. Hold on a minute. Am I gonna be building a team after this? Hold on. That sounds super fun.
Your thing is other than rock slide, I don't know what else you get that gets sheer force boosted.
Yeah.
I guess wouldn't it be lunge? Also gets sheer force boosted because it has a secondary effect.
Yes. Does it get lunge?
I think I saw lunge earlier.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think
it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so
lunge, and then I mean, like, my issue with Kleavor is that its stabs don't touch Golden Go at all. Like, whereas like if you ran like your sharpness set, you do get
Night Slash,
which would allow you to hit Golden Go for very good damage. And you are exactly 1 speed point faster than Golden Go. I mean, you're weak to Golden Go, but like,
yeah, this Pokemon's weird. It's weird.
We don't really have a lot of options in terms of non-legendary rock types, so I feel like it's either this thing or Carbink. Kidding. I guess we could also say Rhyperior.
I do think Rhyperior is not a bad call. I'm just looking.
I mean, Rhyperior is
there's
kind
like
of,
nothing. There's actually like
crazy.
no options.
I would say that Rhyperior is a pretty crazy rock type, mainly because it's a Trick Room Sweeper and it functions really well with Bronzong. The Weakness Policy Bulldoze set was always just like the popular Bronzong one. I'm pretty sure that actually got results in a Reg F tournament, if I'm not mistaken. The Rhyperior Bronzong.
I think it did.
Yeah.
It is just really strong. I do like it on Trick Room teams. Yeah, I mean, Lightning Rod's kind of cool. It gives you some play into Archaludon, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not a ton of play because you're gonna get body pressed the subsequent turn, but yeah, it's just kind of a weird Pokemon. Again, it's got another 4 times weakness to the most popular archetype in the format. So,
I feel like that's kind of the issue with most of these rock types, except Tyranitar. I think Tyranitar is still pretty strong.
Yeah, Tyranitar, I feel like it
doesn't seem to care too much.
No, it's just I don't know. It's just a lot of these Pokemon. I think Rock type just is. It's just a bad defensive typing in general.
Well, yeah,
there's no way around it.
Yeah. There's just nothing really to do except terrestrialize away from that typing. It's kind of like how we used to think ice types were terrible, but now it's just rock types are just terrible defensively. It's just kind of the thing.
I think if I had to break it down, because we've got a handful here. If I had to go with what are the top 5 from this group of Pokemon, I think we give Kleavor an honorable mention because it's so awkward. As far as it stabs, like Evan said, Rhyperior also very awkward. I feel like it's kind of gimmicky and you can see it coming in like an actual like tournament setting on like a best of 3 open team sheet. The rest of these I think can function on a team. I mean, Lycanroc, you kind of know what Lycanroc's doing, but the rest of these function without necessarily any sort of like gimmick behind them, any sort of like secret surprise. Like you can see and immediately know what it's doing, but it can still perform well. And I think Garganacl is underexplored. I think Garganacl definitely has a place. It just hasn't found that team quite yet.
I think you could possibly see Garganacl pop up on, I don't know how popular it'll be, but like on like the Glimmora Dondozo teams,
Mm-hmm.
just because
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
like
added
Dozo Snow teams kind of.
yeah, like you have like a Alolan Ninetales onto them as
Yeah.
well for greens, and it can just be very, very annoying to try to play against.
Yeah, because Garg is just one of those Pokemon that just kind of sits there forever, and when you're playing against a team like Dondozo, Alolan Ninetales, and you kind of need to reserve as many resources as you can for the Dondozo, having to force your way through a Garg that just refuses to go down just becomes really frustrating.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the list. Rock type was, I mean, there are good options, but it's just a lot of them don't feel good when you think about them in the grand scheme of the meta.
I just feel like in terms of how viable rock types are, I think it's the first two, and then 3 to 5 just kind of taper off a cliff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I do expect these two to be the only two that really see a ton of play. I could see the occasional Hisuian Arcanine popping up in the place of like an Incineroar or something, but I think Glimmora and T-Tar are going to be the ones that really show up in force. But there's the list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and sub. Do you guys have anything you want to shout out?
Play Pokemon Unite.
Yeah, we have been playing a lot of Unite. It's been fun.
Also, play more Lycanroc. Just do it.
Do it.
Don't worry about it.
Do it.
Just do it.
I got a team that I'll keep together for when Reg G comes back, and I'll put it on the channel.
I've been tempted to run T-Tar Lycanroc. I just haven't had the chance to just throw a team together.
That's the second time I've run it at a local. It's a lot of fun.
Lycanroc in general is just fun.
Or wants to howl.
I want to howl. The car yearns for howl.
But like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and sub. We got 11 more of these videos. They're gonna keep coming. But until next time, peace.